All right, guys, we are back for another week. Hey, everyone, I hope you guys had a good 4th of July weekend. Me and Ian, we were going to record last night, but we decided to hit it in the morning. Celebrate the U.S. holiday for a little bit. Ian, what's up, man?
Let's just be honest, Kevin. I fell asleep. It was we normally do, 11:30. I worked yesterday. We're gonna see the Spider-Man movie, and I hit you up like, "Hey, we're gonna do it." You said, "We probably will," and probably will went to me snoring. Dude, I was out of it. So it's my fault, patrons. Don't blame Kevin. I
Hey,
take full
man.
responsibility.
Hey, we're a team, man. It's neither one of us or both of us, man. So, but hey, we did. Hey, in your defense, we agreed to the morning, and then I said, "Hey, you still woke? Let's do it." And but yeah, guys. Again, we hope you guys had a good 4th. We're here to continue the 4-part series, ranking the Saints roster. Guys want to check out, if just your first time here, and which I'm pretty sure it's not, you can go check out the previous 2 pods on patreon.com/Saints Talk. I don't have to tell you guys what the website is because you guys probably came here to get this pod. Also, just a quick reminder, which is probably unnecessary. If you listen to podcasts in your favorite podcast app, you can go to the Patreon, your personal Patreon page, get the link. There's a link that you can get copied into your podcast app. So the feed for this podcast will show up like the rest of your podcast. So you don't have to go to the Patreon page or the Patreon app to listen to it. You can listen to it in your favorite podcast app. So pretty sure you guys know that, but I'm just putting that out there just in case. If you don't know how to do it, just give me a holler, and I'll DM it to you or something like that. With that said, top 10, 10 through 5. Now it's about to get real funky. It's about to get a little debate crazy in here. So let's go. Ian, give me your number 10 player on the New Orleans Saints.
So Kevin put me in the coquina clutch after I had Will Lutz at number 11 on last pod. So I'll get this out the way early and go Thomas Morstead, number 10, just because I think he's elite at what he does, and I know he may only get 2 to 3 punts max a game, but his net punt average was amongst the tops in the NFL. He flips the field in crucial situations, and combined with the Saints' coverage units, they did an excellent job defending punt returns last year. So with that being said, he just got another extension. The Saints value him. I go Thomas Morstead at number 10.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. Yeah. Anyway, let's get enough of what you talking about. Let me do mine. My number 10 for the New Orleans Saints is Thomas Morstead. Man, look. when you said Will Lux, when you start going, talking about Will Lux, I said, oh, he about to drop Morstead on me. So, I mean, for one, I'm just gonna say, as good as Will Lux is at his job, he is not barely worse than Morstead. Morstead is not a step above Will Lux, in my opinion. I think that's a few steps. But my reason for putting Morstead that high is, I put him above guys like Jared Cook, Marcus Davenport, Marcus Williams, Larry Warford, P. Rob Monumental, Von Bell, Anzalone, Pete, Eli Apple, Malcolm Brown, etc. So I think that those guys have a harder job than him, right? And I spoke about that in the previous podcast, that it's harder to be a good linebacker than it is to be a good punter. That's just what I believe. But Morstead is so good at his job. He's so good at it. He's been what year did he get drafted in?
09.
Okay, so 09. He's been so good at his job for a decade, for one thing. Consistently one of the top 5 punters in the NFL every year, I'm pretty sure. So he does this job, even though it's not as maybe difficult as being a linebacker or a free safety. He does it at such a high level that warrants his ranking on this list. And I forget the punter that spoke about it. He's the one that's vocal. I think one of the guys that's vocal on Twitter. Is it Chris Warcraft guy? I forget the punter name. It may have been him.
I think he just signed the WWE. I can't think of his name. Saved my life. Played in Indy, right?
Is it Cluey? Chris Cluey? Chris Cluey? No, that's
Chris, the guy from Minnesota. Yeah, the guy from Minnesota. Okay. Yeah.
But it's another guy. I'll find it.
I thought it was Pat something. But I might be.
Yeah, I just forget. I forget who it is. But
Pat McAfee?
I think it was McAfee. Yeah,
Pat McAfee.
Yeah, man, there you go, Ian.
Yeah, and he just signed with WWE to be on their creative team and broadcast. So.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, and so, he went on like talking about how rare and how good Thomas Morstead is. And I think that we're looking at probably potentially a Hall of Fame punter, right? A Hall of Fame punter. And so, when you got a guy with that level, when he plays at that level, he's that good. He consistently does. I think even Bill Belichick was going on about Morstead too, right? So there's all this stuff about how good he is, and there's just so much out there, and guys who understand the position have so much respect for him that I could have warranted putting him higher on this list, right? I mean, and that would have been fine because he is one of the best at what he does on this team. So I don't have any quarrels about putting Morstead in my top 10. His pedigree is that high, and that was draft pick got some people complained about it at the time, but it ended up being an outstanding draft pick by the Saints that year. Morstead by number 10.
And the crazy last thing on Morstead, we had a pod 2 weeks ago, in a public pod that we talked about the greatest value draft picks in the Sean Payton era, and I think we both overlooked Morstead going in the 5th round. He's 10 to 11 years in doing it, and I didn't even think about it until you just mentioned it, and I said, "Damn, he did get drafted. We traded up for him in the 5th round in 2009, and whoever would have thought he would be the last man standing here out of that class."
I mean, 2009 draft, that was the Malcolm Jenkins draft.
Yep.
I mean, best player out of that draft. When you look at NFL career, I think he's going to be remembered as one of the best punters that ever did it. So, I mean, that's just, and this is just football. I mean, I can't even talk about how he's in love with the city and what he does for the community. He's probably the top contributing Saint. He may love New Orleans more than any other player on that team, right? And so it's just his value to the team and what he means for the city and the organization as a whole. It's you couldn't have asked for a better player than Thomas Morstead. Like, he's the best case scenario in every aspect: punter, person, just everything. So I mean, man, look, I got some love for the guy. I want him to. I don't ever want to see him wearing a different jersey. Like, I would feel a certain way about that.
All right, let's move on to number 9. I'll let you take the floor, sir.
Okay. So my number 9 is starting linebacker Demario Davis. This was the easy one for me. Not saying, the placement in this area gets tough, but putting him this high was pretty easy for me. Last year, I can make the case. I can make the case that he was the tied for the second best player on defense last year. Right? Like, when you look at Cam Jordan being probably the best player, number 1, And when you look at number 2, it's got to be between Rankins and Davis last year, right? Hold on for a second. Getting some technical stuff going on here. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, and so you got Rankins number 2, and then Davis right there. So when you look at his contribution to defense in year 1, I mean, they signed him as a free agent, and right off the bat, like, he's contributing to the defense. So, when you look at the top defensive players on the Saints, right? And again, last year, you going through all these guys, and you got Lattimore up there. I'm thinking, Lattimore, is he better than Lattimore? Last year he was. Is he better than Sheldon Rankins? It's kind of back and forth. Is it not? Just all these guys, right? But at the end of the day, man, I put him at number 9. I could have put him a little higher, but I went there. But yeah, Demario Davis, number 9.
All right. So very similar to my thoughts, but I'm not there yet. I'm including, due to injury, I have Sheldon Rankins at number 9. You will be hearing Demario Davis's name soon, but right now I have Sheldon Rankins at number 9. That is including his injury and fully anticipating him to miss, I guess, 6 to 8 games to start the season. That is the only reason I have him at 9, because we're projecting for the 2019-2020 season. But Sheldon Rankins, number 9, with the ability to be even higher come next season.
Okay, so when you put him at number 9, you factored in the injury.
Yes.
Okay,
sure.
okay. All right, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm with that. I understand your thought process there, right? Because if it's just hard to, for me with the injury, it's hard to know exactly where he stands with the Saints. Like, is he going to come back? When is he going to be ready? I'm pretty sure, and I'm I don't think that he's going to get on that field until he absolutely is healthy. And that's something that I may or may not have heard. But so when is that, right? Is that middle of the season? Is that later in the year? Is it for a playoff push? Right. So we have no idea what the status of, if his health is. And so it is hard to like factor the health into where I placed him. But I guess if you look at the Okafor trajectory that he had last year, I think if that would be a good case scenario that he comes back and maybe plays, even though Okafor maybe wasn't the same guy, he still had a relatively good year and got paid off of it. But okay, yeah, I get it though. Rankins number 9 for you.
I'll move over to number 8. You just had him at number 9. I have Demario Davis as number 8. He was better than I ever imagined he would be. I know he had a very strong 2017 season with the Jets, coming off an ascending 2016 season. I'm going to be honest. It's okay for me to admit this now, since we saw what he was. But I thought a lot of his stats were that 2015 Stephon Anthony, when he had 130 plus tackles, but you didn't see that most of them were 5 or 6 yards down the field. I just thought Demario had a lot of counting stats, not really researching his game. Then he became a Saint, and I was just pleasantly surprised on how good he was at all levels, stopping in the run game. He was okay in pass coverage. His blitzing was excellent. He was a far better player than I ever imagined he would be for the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, I think he shocked a lot of people. He might even shock the front office a little bit. I remember when they signed him, and Nick and I, we were, we heard about it, and we decided to go watch tape on him. So I'm not sure how many games I watched on him. Maybe it was 5 or 6 games. And when we saw it, we both were like, okay, if the Saints get this guy as linebacker, and he's the same guy that he was for the Jets, then wow, right? That's a big upgrade, especially in the run game, but even some in the past. I mean, he was an upgrade at every level. This year, he was better than that guy. He was better than the dude that we were looking at on tape. And so, look, again, that was a home run signing. That may have been the best Saints free agent signing since Jabari Greer. I don't know. I would need to look. Maybe we should do a pod on that. Best.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that would be yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of one off the top of my head. Maybe there's someone in there, but just, man.
Because you can't include Vilma. That was a trade. You can't, there's so many guys who contributed to this team that came via trade. Sharper was 1 year a free agent, and we saw how that ended by the time his second year came around. So DeMario has to prove it this year to not be in that 1 year wonder category as a free agent.
Yep. No, I agree with you. But yeah, that's a solid pick. Man, I feel like we are agreeing a little bit too much right now. I mean, people may be a little surprised at this. I didn't have him higher, but I put Sheldon Rankins at number 8. And I didn't factor in this injury. I'm thinking this is going to be for the upcoming year, right? And so if this is last year, he's probably a little bit higher, just a little bit, like a tad bit higher. And so, yeah, I mean, I got Rankins at number 8 for all the reasons we spoke about. I think he was the second best player on the defense. You can make a case that him or DeMario, they shared that spot. I mean, when you look at a player who got better every year, this is the perfect example of it. Rankins, he just kept improving and improving and improving. And, he did a lot of different stuff last offseason, and it showed, man. I mean, his play on the field it was elevated. Everyone knows that I'm a Sheldon Rankins stan. He was one of my favorite prospects the Saints took coming out of college in years. I went to bat for him, and then I started to sour on him a little bit because, the notion was that, he's having a good year, but it's, not last year, the year before, but he's doing all the things you can't see. And I'm like, yeah, that's good, but you want your 3-tech to get pressure and get sacks at the end of the day. And he wasn't doing that. I don't want him playing defensive end in a pinch. Sign another defensive end. This year, he was that guy, right? I mean, he was dominant from the middle at times. Not as consistent as you want, but definitely getting there. I mean, exactly what you want out of the 3-tech. Play the run, play the pass. He's smart, always does the right thing, explosive, can beat you with power. He can go around you, can go through you. That's what you look for in the 3-tech. So he got the number 8 spot at my list. If he would have had maybe if he would have played in the playoffs and had a better showing there with him on the field, maybe he would have been higher. But I feel good at putting him at number 8 for this upcoming season.
Yeah, and speaking on that, I was really, I don't want to say sad. Sad's not the word. I would have liked to have seen him be able to finish that Philly game and then play in the St. Louis game. I'm not St. Louis, LA game. And I thought there was too many times that Goff was comfortable in the pocket, especially later in that second half, other than that one, Cam Jordan sack. So I really wanted to see how he could have impacted that game, but injuries are a part of it, and hopefully he bounces back soon.
Yeah, well, I was sad. That's the word I'm going to use. All right, give me your number 7 guy.
Yeah, so I think we're at a point of the roster that we are going to agree more than not. I think there's only one name left on this list that can be a little, what's the word? Polarizing is compared to where we put him. So number 7, I'm guessing we're going to have the same number 7 here, but I'm going to go Teron Armstead as number 7.
Nope.
Okay.
Don't think you know me, man. You don't know me. You don't know me.
Okay. So that means he's 6. I got it. Okay. All right.
Or
Fine.
maybe he's 5. Maybe he's 4.
Okay. Sure. All right. So Armstead, number 7. He has the physical ability and talent to be top 2 but his injuries continue to mar his view around the league. I think everybody knows he's uber talented. I think everybody wants him to be the top left tackle in the league. I think he's graded in that manner regularly, but there's just the fear of injuries, and not only injuries that cause him to miss games, but injuries that impact him during games that that dude's a warrior. He plays in a lot of situations he shouldn't be playing in. But I think this guy should be a yearly all-pro type of a guy, but he's playing 13 games or he's playing 10 games and he's injured in 2 of the 13 that he's playing. So for me, Teron Armstead, number 7, talent-wise should be higher, but I'm going to go with 7 for him.
Yeah, that's solid. That's a solid placement. I think the injuries definitely, like, we talk about rankings with me not having an idea about how to place him with the injuries. With Teron Armstead, I think we do because it's like a yearly thing. So, that kind of puts the ceiling on where you can put him on the roster. And that's not taken away from his toughness. He's a tough dude, man. He plays through a lot of stuff. I mean, he played with stuff almost every year of his career. He's a tough dude, but man, he just can't stay healthy. And that's unfortunate because if he's healthy, we would be talking about a potential Hall of Fame left tackle. I'm just saying, I don't have any quarrels about saying that. If that year, this has been like 5 years straight he's been hurt, 4 or 5 years straight. So, if he's healthy every one of those years, he's graded at the top of the NFL every year. And we're not talking about Tyron Smith or David Bakhtiari. We're talking about, Joe Thomas level production from the left tackle spot in the run game and the pass game. He's that good. So, but my number 7 is Marshawn Lattimore. I went with Marshawn. I think that this year, right? And so the people that I struggled with was where it got funky for me was Davis, Rankins, Lattimore, because I'm thinking, okay, 2000, I'm projecting for the upcoming season, right? And I took Rankins' injury out of it. So I think Rankins probably, him and Davis were 1 and 1A last year. I think Rankins had a slightly better year. And with him being younger, still growing as a player, even though Davis got better this year, which is weird, but I still gave Rankins the edge. And so then when I looked at Rankins and Lattimore, I'm like, okay, how do I play this? And I think Lattimore's ceiling is just significantly higher. He's shown flashes of being the best corner in the NFL. I don't think Rankins has ever shown that he could be the best interior pass rusher / street tech. So, Lattimore has freakish ability. He could be number 2 on this list by the end of the season. And I don't even hesitate to say that, right? If it comes together like he did, where, he's thinking about the plays and he's got the game mentally, he knows the route combinations. When you look at a certain type of route, when you look at how a player comes off the line or where he's lined up, there's only a certain amount of routes he can run. And based off his split, there's only a certain amount of routes he can run. So once he starts putting all that into real-time football, and the mental part is there, and then he's locked in physically, like apparently he is, you got a corner with basically unlimited potential, right? I mean, there's nothing that he can't do from the cornerback spot. So 2019, I wanted to put him higher. I wanted to put him in my top 5, but there's still a little bit of projection there, right? You're talking about a guy who didn't practice well at times, who wasn't prepared for Mike Evans' first week of the season and got smoked. Right, there's still some question marks about, how good will he be, right? And so I just need to see it a little bit more. But as far as just talent and potential and what he could be, I mean, he could surpass Cam Jordan as a defensive talent on this team, because that's just how talented and gifted he is at times. So my number 7, Marshawn Lattimore.
So this is the first one that I had a scrunched up face when I heard you say it. There's the gif of, I can't think of the name of the actor, but the guy who plays in Guardians of the Galaxy, that he had his mouth wide open like, wow. That was the first one that I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that one. So
but you don't have him on. You haven't listed him yet, so you got
exactly
him way higher. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, that's the first one that caught me off guard. Number 6, I have Ryan Ramczyk. Yeah, I have him at number 6.
So that's what you went. You went Ramczyk, Armstead. Okay, 6, 7. Okay.
Yeah. I got Ramczyk number 6, and he's another guy that has the potential to move up. I've mentioned in the past that I think he is a type of a player that within the next 2 to 3 years, he's universally accepted as maybe the best tackle in football, regardless of size. I mean, regardless of side, I should say. Um, I'm a big fan, man. But you could see he was dealing with something in the playoffs. Well, starting mostly in that Dallas game, you could see he was injured. I had never seen him, I don't want to say dominated, uh, but Lawrence, he killed him in that game. And I had never seen anybody get that kind of get off or be able to beat Ramczyk to the corner as he did. And I know that's an elite pass rusher, top 5 in the NFL, but it also showed me that Ramczyk was not all the way healthy. So,
Definitely not healthy that game.
Yeah, definitely not healthy. So I have him number 6 with the potential to move up. But I just think the 5 guys in front of him, or just at a tick slightly higher, whether it's actual in game or actual potential that they've shown. So I have him at number 6.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can't really argue with where you got him. I mean, right now at a certain point it's just, the margins are so small that it's hard to, really strongly agree or not agree, strongly disagree with anything, because these guys are just, the top of the talent and the roster is high. So my number 6 is, so where did I go between Ramczyk and Armstead? I remember Alex was asking me he'd be interested in, hearing how I rank these 2 guys. So my number 6 player for the New Orleans Saints for the 2019 season is Terran Armstead.
What a shock!
I went Ramczyk over Armstead, just like you did, but I had I may have went Ramczyk more than one spot over Armstead. Maybe not. We'll see about that. You guys can figure that part out next week. But yeah, I went Armstead number 6. He's a better tackle than Ryan Ramczyk, right? That's just, listen, he's a better tackle than everybody in the NFL when he's healthy. When he's healthy, like Ramczyk, you're looking at a perennial, probably Pro Bowl player, all pro some years. Just freakishly technical. Athleticism is fine. Strength is fine. Core strength is fine. Everything. When you look at Armstead is freak. He's freak. He's freakish in his ability to do things on the field that other left tackles can't do. He's faster than some tight ends. Okay. He can get to a block quicker than anybody. He can play in space. He's strong enough to block in a run game. In fact, he's a good run blocker. And if we're being honest about it, we will never, even if he's healthy for the rest of his career, we will never see peak Armstead. We only saw that for a little bit, and it was unreal. It was Hall of Fame, right? And so even if he stays healthy for the rest of his career, we're still looking at an all-pro player, right? And if maybe he turns around and he plays the next 8 seasons, unhurt, if by some miracle, and he's back in that conversation. But the injuries what took him out of the top 5 for me. There were years where he was number 2 on this team after Drew Brees, right? Like literally, he was better than Cam Jordan, right? But again, the injuries, man. Your best ability is availability. So you got to be on the field, and you got to be on the field healthy and productive. And I know football is a game of luck sometimes with your injury history, but he's just one who's not been that lucky. I'm glad he got a contract, because at least he got that one payday. But yeah, I put Armstead at number 6, man. I mean, he could have been higher. Injuries, like I said, injuries dropped him that low. It was at times he could have been number 2. and heck, maybe even number 1 if we're being real. But yeah, number 6, left tackle for New Orleans Saints, Teron Armstead.
I like it. Number 5.
No, we're stopping. We're doing 10 through 6, man.
Oh!
You about to blow
No, I was so excited because I know this next one is going to cause all kind of an uproar. So I'm sorry. This has been a rough podcast for me. I thought I was muted, so if you hear me coughing out my lungs, my apologies. I'm dropping things because I was choking. That's on me.
Yeah, hey guys, I was looking at Ian in the camera, and I'm like, dude, don't down me in the middle of this.
Yeah, it was. I thought I muted it. I was like, well, no one's gonna hear me, dying. And then Kev's like, what are you doing, bro? I'm like, what are we talking about? So my apologies. I thought I got the 2 pods confused, and one button does something on one that doesn't work on the other. So my bad. Still tell your friends to donate and become a Patreon member. Don't let my spell of a end of life moment deter you from listening and recommending us to more people.
Hey man, it's all good. It's all good. I know my when I was trying to get my DeMario Davis take, I was like trying to type and talk about it at the same time, and I was all over the place. But man, look, we got through it, and we have fun with this. So thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you guys for listening. We will be back next week with the top 5 list, and also we'll just kind of go through. You still got your whole list?
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll just recap the whole list, just list all it so we can hear the whole. We can have one pod with all the guys. So we'll just recap the whole list. We're gonna do top 5, and we're gonna have fun with it. So
I'm fully expecting some fireworks on the next pod because
they coming, man. I got hot takes. So
hey, you saw how excited I was about number 5 just now. So that's where it starts.
Yeah, man. And look, hey, we did top 5, and we still managed to drop, a over 30-minute podcast. So we not. Don't think, guys, the 5 we cutting it short, man. We still bringing, the same amount of analysis. It's just a little bit more nuance in the discussion with these guys at the top. So with that said, I hope you guys had a good 4th of July. Enjoy your weekend. It's still people partying. Be safe. Drive safe. Don't drink and drive. We'll see you guys next week. We out.